So Chris Webber recently was saying that he said that he felt that the 2002 Sacramento Kings got robbed against the Lakers, but he said they should have won game 7. There could be truth in both of it, but again, that's a very strong element when you obviously the free throw disparity. The Lakers today get a lot of free throws with LeBron James, Anthony Davis, but they don't have anyone that was as dominant as Shaquille O'Neal or Kobe Bryant coming from the back. So I don't quite understand the logic in that being used today since LeBron and AD ain't exactly partying in the paint. But anyway, a lot of people feel Sacramento got robbed in this series because of Game 6. But I said from the counter, what about Game 5 when Bobby Jackson was grabbing a hold of Kobe Bryant's jersey and there was no calls and Weber had that ball on him? They had been instant replay then. They may have lost Game 5. Shaquille O'Neal getting fouled out in Game 2 when he had 39 points and he was on way to a 50-bird piece. So it works both ways. But Chris Webber saying they still should have won Game 7, which is true. Their legs got out on them. Peja Stojakovic was D'd up by Rick Fox, who's an unsung defensive specialist for the Lakers, and it never gets his due credit for what the defense he played on Peja. Peja was a MVP considerate candidate back then, and for that time he had a great season with them. They did not win Game 7 on their home court. They lost in overtime. That gets lost in the mail that they did not finish up their game. So there was a rivalry for a moment, but it really wasn't a rivalry because the Lakers went on and won their third chip over the Nets and swept them four. But the acting that was done by Vlade Divac to flop or Scott Pollard against Shaquille O'Neal, how do you defend that when it was a known fact with the Hacker Shack and they were using four centers to commit 24 fouls? How do you make it make sense? We will never know the truth of it, but we also know that David Stern wanted a superstar led finals. He did not want Sacramento against the Nets in the finals. No matter what they say, and all things being fair and equal, the NBA is not like the NFL that can have two teams from two different things to represent. They have a star. It's all star driven, but it's more blatant in the NBA. This is the same man that came out in 2004, 20 plus years ago, and said, 20 years ago, and said, if I had my way, it'd be LA versus LA. He didn't stutter. He said it on TV. They let you know that sometimes the wires are wired and the fix be on. But Chris Webber to say that we still should have won speaks the volumes of it because one thing I always learned, I remember George Foreman when he was fighting Michael Moore, I think it was in that fight back in 94. He said, I can't go to the refs to win the fights because if I depend on the refs, I'm not going to win. Sometimes you know you're fighting not just the opponent, but you're also fighting the ties as well. So you have to make a statement. You get regulation, you finish it up. You don't let it go to the scorer's table. You don't let it be dependent on nobody but yourself. You have to stand on your own to make that thing happen. Because ain't nobody going to give you nothing. And everybody has to earn their keep. But Sacramento Kings never did get to another Western Conference Finals. Shaquille O'Neal did lose to the finals against the Detroit Pistons a couple years later before he was traded to Miami. He won a ring with Miami. And there was some people whispering about that finals. But the fact of him being the hardest man to referee alone, all things are broken off because if Weber's acknowledging it, you know you can't call those fouls. But anyway, tell me what you think about what Chris Webber said about they got robbed, but they still should have won Game 7. Do you feel that way? And where do you stand on it after all these years later? Because it is something, there was an interesting time period with the Patriots and the Tuck rule against the Raiders. That happened 2 years prior. That dynasty, the Lakers dynasty, there's questions that are asked about some shadiness. But what do you think? Please hit like, subscribe, welcome thoughts, comments, and I do respond. Thank you. Wash your hands. Keep your mind clear. Watch out for another and share it if you like and hit that membership. Stay safe, stay blessed, stay woke, stay true, stay woke. Also, do you think a title would have made you feel any different about Chris Webber's place all time? Or did he need to make more of an imprint? Because do you think that had they won and beat Sacramento, they'd have been a 1 year wonder? Or do you think they would have came back and done more? That's some most interesting questions that I have as a follow through for future episodes upon touching this topic. And I got another segment that I'm going to touch on. We'll get into it more in time. Till next time, have a good day. Peace.